Hello, everyone on both Wake the Republic and Mr. Thrive and Survive. Um, get a couple things out of the way real fast here. I know some people don't like the attire, but my shirt was absolutely drenched last night. It's hot again tonight. Until it cools off, guys, is just what we're going to have to deal with. Unless somebody wants to buy me a very powerful air conditioner, which I don't think is necessary. So that's that. Let's get that out of the way. I'd like to ask, we talked about last time how the supposedly the FDA didn't approve, or they did approve a Pfizer vaccine for non-emergency use. In other words, just a regular authorization. But someone in the chat said that that was for I can't even remember the name, began with a C, I think, another kind of vaccine that's not even available to the public. If anybody has that link that can actually explains the difference, because evidently, if that's true, then the mainstream's been lying. And I'll tell you why that's important here in a little bit. But hello, High Vibe, Sheepdog, Focal Shift, Jason Frew, I Need the Beach, GoPro UK. Early in the morning, Templar Night. I see people talking about how long is Biden going to last. Marty 80, Kurt Cooper, CK, Calgary. Hello, Calgary. Camgo 05, Stanley, Scott Anon, Kick and Gravel, Jason Frew, Templar Night, Kurt Cooper. Awesome. So some of you are on Wake the Republic, some are on Mr. Thrive and Survive. Again, please go to the description. If you haven't subscribed to Wake the Republic, go there, because this channel, Mr. Thrive and Survive, is under attack. I'm seeing a total of 36 people in the chat. I don't know how many it's split. Doesn't matter at the moment. We're going to go over something real fast here. Hello, Jacob Law. And Sheepdog. Yeah, hot everywhere. I just got done watching the Orioles break their 0-19 streak. So that was cool. I just got this from Steve Matthews, Teeth of the Lamb, just about 5 minutes ago. So I don't have it saved or whatever, but look at these images. See the people out on the street? This is in France. This is what I'm talking about, starving the beast. Tommy Robinson News. France this evening, as terrorist restaurants require Macron's COVID passports, the people brought their own picnics to the street. Restaurants empty, street filled with free and happy families dining together. That's what I'm talking about. And I don't know how many of you have seen this about the New Orleans Saints tickets. Saints tickets are selling for less than $1 after the team requires fans to be vaccinated or have a negative COVID-19 test. Starve the beast. And so I wrote my friend who's big time into football. I said, can you verify that's true? He said, yes, not only is it true, but those who bought the tickets like in advance, like season ticket holders or anybody else that got advanced tickets that paid regular price, the team is not going to issue any refunds to them. So isn't that sweet and nice? Weston, you're getting an appointment for a vaccine exemption card. Let's go. Based on what, Weston? Just curious. Anna, you like those streams. Thank you so much. Maybe you fell asleep. It was pretty boring last night, maybe. Hello, DMB. YouTube commies. Michelle Joy. And hello back, Stanley. All right. Now, we're going to cover something. Let's say evening before 3:13. Hello, Shane, good servant, Ronnie Briggs. People are popping in. We're up to 76 now. All righty. I talked last time about the professor. Remember the professor? And the professor, what he was saying was that a couple things, but with the aircraft, and we're going to look at this. He said that aircraft overcome gravity, and he got into vectors. There's different forces. There's a force down, there's a force up. And if the force up overcomes the force down, and that is wrong. So anyway, first person to say it right. I don't remember how I said it now. Eve me before 313. Is that how I said it? All right. So let's look at this, and we'll get this out of the way. I'm only going to be on for an hour tonight, guys, because I have an early morning appointment at the VA downtown Phoenix tomorrow to get my Botox injections for my migraines, and I don't miss that one because I don't want migraines. And let me just share this first. See, in case you don't know, down here in the lower left, this is the professor we're talking about. And look, I got an official NASA. Okay, inclination effects on drag and all that. So we have different forces. We have lift, we have drag, we have weight, and we have thrust. So what we're going to show is that has nothing to do with gravity. Or, like he said, you use vectors, you can tell the force how it's going to work. Well, we're going to look at vectors and see how this won't work. And this is basic aeronautic stuff. Don't need to get deep into it. Wasn't the first day, but it was the first week we went over this at basic aviation in the Navy, which I went to because I was in aviation electronics. So you go through basic aviation first. Can't find the application window. Just a moment. There we go. Now let's see how this looks to you guys. All righty. We're looking at the middle picture here. Let me switch back over so you can see it. It's very simple. Faster air moving over the wing. Okay, faster air here. This creates low pressure versus air that's not so fast under the wing. That's high pressure. This is why, just as a side note, this is why the Earth can't be spinning. Because this is an example right here of speed shear. The upper levels of the atmosphere would necessarily have to spin faster than the lower levels to keep up with the Earth because there's a greater circumference with the higher levels, right? So you would constantly be creating lower pressure at the upper atmosphere, and the higher pressure below would rush up to fill it. We don't have this, of course, but that's a side note. So, and look, I got a NASA plane. So let's look at some of the forces here. And let's see what I got going on. Oh, look, it's a jet aircraft. And I know this is poor, but there's the engine in the back. All right, now, the different forces we're worried about. I have to move it down a little bit. Here's the vectors. All right. The vectors, he says, is gravity pulling down. Well, you do have the weight of the aircraft. But gravity pulling down is not what this is overcoming. Now, I'm going to show you that very simply that you can explain to anybody. The jet moves this way. If it wants to climb, it can. All it has to do is change the ailerons or the elevators on the aircraft, and it can move up or down. The engine pulls more air over top of the wings than underneath the wings, forcing air up under the wing, trying to get to the top part of the wing, that low pressure, high pressure. Very simple. This is what provides lift. And here's the deal. This works in any fluid. So if you have a sea craft that, let's just say, is buoyant at 10 feet below the surface of the water, so it's not being pulled down by gravity, and you pull more water on top of it than below it, it will rise because the water below will push upward to make that craft rise. So there doesn't have to be any gravity or whatever. I'm going to show you very simply that it's not gravity that causes it. I mean, that it's overcoming. The force, as Paulster X said, what force is the engine pushing against? It's not pushing against anything. And my question is, what is the engine pushing against in space? Now, see, this would have been a little bit different story if the professor would have been talking about a rocket, but no, he went to aircraft and he doesn't understand the basics. So the engine creates the force by creating lower pressure on top of the wing. And if he wants to use vectors, at this point right here, let me get an arrow to show you. All right, you basically have this right now in this aircraft. This is your up vector, slightly up, which again, it's not this, it's the ailerons and elevators that change the angle, pitch, and all that with the aircraft. So when the engine is in a position to where it's directly opposite gravity, it should work the best, right? Well, let's see about that. So you take the aircraft and you start to rotate it. And anybody that knows anything about aircraft knows when you get to about here, what happens? You have the greatest force against gravity, if that's what you want to call it. I don't care if you call it gravity or weight or whatever. We're not talking about that here. We're talking about the force and his stupidity. Because you say use vectors to see the force. Well, the force is the same. The engine's still rotating at however many RPMs it is. But what happens here is you get a stall. Why does it stall? It stalls because now you have air, instead of rising up, it's rising parallel to the aircraft. So it's creating higher pressure on the left, on the top side of the aircraft, but the top side of the aircraft is now vertical or close to vertical. The aircraft will stall and begin to fall. So just when it should have its greatest effect against gravity, it has its least effect. This is why it's lift which causes this to happen. And the lift is created by the air that's pulled through the engine. And most people don't know this, but like aircraft carriers, I don't know about small boats or whatever, but aircraft carriers, they go through the water. The screws on the aircraft carrier turn so it pulls water through, pulls it from the front of the ship to the back. That's how it moves when it's moving forward. Alrighty, that's that right there. It's very simple, but again, the point is the professor doesn't know what he's talking about. The force is the air, the difference in air pressure. Mike, I'm glad you're here. I wanted to ask you something. What was it? Oh, Mike, were you here the other day when we showed the video of the balloon at night from Spain that showed the sun and the moon? And I wouldn't even bring it up, except he says, we're the ones that are stupid. We don't understand that the force is against gravity, and you have to use vectors. And he's just all mixed up with it. Oh, okay, good, Mike. Good. What do you think about doing a night launch now? Not only that, but having something that tells us the true direction that the camera is pointing at all times, so that we can sort of simulate the exact same thing. I'd like to have it to where the sun is to the right of us, still on the other side of the earth, but slightly to the right, because if it's to the left, people say, well, that's Phoenix. It's to the left of you. But I think we can go the other way. What about shuttle launches? They actually show it with shuttle launches, too. I saw a diagram that showed it. What about it, Colin? A rocket launch is different than how aircraft work. Like I said, he's the one that went with aircraft, not with rockets. You're in, huh, Mike? All right, sounds good. I look forward to doing that. I feel kind of excited that we might be able to verify that. You know, if we get two witnesses, what are people going to say? And if we show, like on a map, that the sun should be, let's say, at 020 degrees, and that's exactly where we see it, and the moon should be 080 degrees, and that's where we see it, that's going to be awesome. Yeah, your esteemed professor doesn't know the actual professors. That actual professors say that gravity doesn't exist on Earth. It doesn't stall until deep space. I still would like to know, what is a rocket engine in space pushing against? There's no gravity there, right? What's it pushing against? Because that was his thing, that the engine is pushing against gravity in an aircraft. No, it's not. The engine itself creates the force that lifts the aircraft. It creates lift. And again, if you do it in water, same thing. Everything holds true in fluid. Right? Air is treated as a fluid. Not that a submarine uses this, but if a submarine was 50 feet below the surface of the water, and it started pulling water above its fins in the back versus below, it would push upwards, because the water would blow below, and a fluid will rush to fill it. Anything moving faster, the slower moves to fill it up, to make it even again. That's why the Earth can't spin, because we would have this shear constantly. And in the upper atmosphere, you would constantly have low pressure. But you don't. You have the same amount of highs and lows, and they're all spread out just like all throughout the whole rest of the atmosphere. Where would gravity come from in space? I don't know where it comes from. I mean, they say it's, it's coming from a giant planet like the Earth or whatever. You can't demonstrate it elsewise. So if you can't push air up above the wings for the space shuttle in space, because there's no air, and you can't push against gravity, because as soon as you pop out, they're always showing the gloves floating, what are you pushing against? No, what you don't understand, Rich, is conservation of momentum. Buoyancy and density. Yeah, that was the point he was trying to make. It's not buoyancy and density, it's gravity. They always like to say buoyancy and density. Well, buoyancy and density explains everything. I'm sorry, but it does. 100 milligrams of helium cooled will sink. Cooled to a liquid will sink in standard atmosphere. Warmed until it becomes a gas, which is well below temperatures that we normally can stand, it rises. What changed? Same amount of molecules. The only thing that changed was its density. All of a sudden, gravity can't pull it down anymore. And I like how and gravity is intelligent. Well, when a helium balloon goes up, Rich, the gravity is pulling air around it down harder. That's why it goes up. Oh, so gravity all of a sudden knows when a balloon is there that's got helium in it, it should pull harder around the balloon. Come on, man. At least that's the way I understand what they try to explain. Maybe I'm wrong. That's right. So-called gravity is weaker than hot air. And it doesn't take much iron, just a little warmth. Ooh, it'll start rising. Joe Mama, love you back, man. Thank you. They say that rockets push off themselves in space, which is absolutely absurd, ridiculous. Nothing can push against itself. Nowhere in nature can you find a creature that pushes against itself to move. The way I've heard it explained was, well, if you take a bowling ball and you swing it and hold on to it, that's how you move, because the momentum. Okay, well, the bowling ball doesn't have any mass at all when there's no gravity, right? According to them. So what do you, when you swing it, you're actually swinging nothing. Yeah, WW Ocean. With almost no atmosphere, a satellite would need massive engines to create thrust. I don't even think they can do it then. Not little tiny bursts. Yeah, like they showed the little, remember the little spray coming out of the stuff docking with the ISS supposedly, and it looked like it was blowing in the wind. When it blows out, it should go in a straight direction. It shouldn't veer. The line where's the line where air ends? Where NASA says it is. That's an interesting. Well, they say it goes past the moon now. Where does the atmosphere end? Let's see what they say here. The final layer of atmosphere, the enormous exosphere, continues until around 6,700 miles. 10,000 kilometers above the surface of our planet. And some say even further. At that point, the moon is still hundreds of thousands of miles away. Oh, I got to click on this. Oh, and that's where space really begins. It's 6,700 miles. And now I got my crap pop up on me, so I can't read anymore. Good question. How did they get the helicopter fly on Mars with virtually no atmosphere? And it's not spinning fast when it shows the. It looks like it's the blades. It looks like you would see just like a drone on Earth. Richard Branson's place flight goes to. Yeah, how high was he? Let's see. And they have the gall to call it a space flight. Oh, look, win a trip to space. Fly with Virgin Galactic. Win the experience of a lifetime with 2 seats aboard a Virgin Galactic spacecraft. Plus tour Spacecraft America, Spaceport America, with travel and accommodations included. Find your winning moment. Now, who was that person that jumped from space, supposedly? What was his name? His stock is down 50%. You know why? Because some people looked at it and said, oh, he's not in space. How many miles up before anti-gravity kicks in? All I know is as soon as they pop out, because all of a sudden it's just black. There's no more atmosphere, at least not enough to turn anything blue. And then they take their gloves off and they float. They do it over and over again. And it's not that high up. It really isn't. I'll have to look at the miles next time and remember it. Felix Baumgartner or something like that. Felix Baumgartner. Felix Space Jump. Thank you for that. He was at 128,000 feet. We got freaking balloons have gone higher than that. 128,000 feet. What I want to see is something I never... Yeah. All right, I got a question here. Maybe there's an answer. I'm going to share this. Don't need the volume. Watch this. Let's go even a little bit further back. There's the flat Earth. My question is, why is this thing not moving? See? No movement. But at another angle, it shows movement. Absolutely no movement here. Earth isn't moving. He's not moving. And what's holding this thing up there? Mission control. Give me a break. He's at 128,000 feet. What the hell do you need mission control for? You need it for optics, so people think. Yeah, this is about what balloons see at that altitude. Neil deGrasse Tyson says nobody's seen the curvature from 62 miles because it's only 2 millimeters off a standard school globe. Look at this. Unadulterated trash. I don't even think any of it was real. None of it. Oh, a parachute works. Oh, that's a first. Oh, yay. That was $150 million. Oh, you're back. Picard went higher than you did. Probably. As I recall, he landed not far from... Yes, from where he landed. Not possible in a spinning globe. Exactly. There's not enough atmosphere there to push anything of any kind of density around. Is Jacob Law still on the stream? He's here. He's here. He was in the house a little bit earlier. Mission control looks like a rental unit at the storage place. White House. Sure, we missed the lights going out. Now it's not showing. Today, the link's not there for it. Let me search again. Nope, doesn't show up today. See, Vouchy's still giving briefings. Yeah, I'm not showing it available right now. Yeah, he was at 128,172 feet, 3 feet. Now he's pretty much staying steady. He's moved 6 feet in about 20 seconds. And the Earth was absolutely still. He was still. How was he still? How was he up there? Does anybody know? How was he just sitting still? Was he attached to something? They cut it off, White House. Yeah, I think they did. No, I don't think the jab is the mark. I think it's a precursor, though. If they get some sort of worship in with this, maybe, but not yet. Does anybody have the link? And the reason why I need the link is my daughter-in-law, her previous marriage, she has a boy, and he's a really good kid, and he's 13. And at the school where he's going, they're offering, are you ready for this? They're offering free, of all things, free COVID vaccines for the kids. And the father of him wants to take him and get it done, but the mother doesn't want it done. So I'm looking, because he said now that the FDA has approved it, but even no matter what, I understand they haven't approved anything for kids at all. And but anyway, what I heard was that the mainstream media was lying. They approved for use a vaccine that's not even out yet. The other one, the one that's out, is still under emergency use only. But I haven't seen that. I don't have a link for that. That's what I'm looking for. Jab is hand mark. The next one is the forehead mark. You can interpret the. To me, it's possible. I'm not saying this is it, but you can interpret the mark in the forehead is the way people think. If you think a certain way, you've got the mark. But the Greek lends to it being a physical, actual mark, something placed upon, not in, upon, which to me is an identification. Nope, he jumped on the earth, didn't spin. Paid 100 for your what, Super Coop? You didn't do it, did you? Oh, John, this is easy to answer. How does anyone watch with your long, boring pauses? Because they like to see people like you get banned, get blocked. That's how. They know if I pause, someone like you will come in and say something stupid and show your total ignorance, which you just did. So, see ya. Or are you one of the idiots that's got 15 different accounts, so you'll be back in a few minutes? Rod M, the chat is working. Now, the question, Rod, is where are you? Are you on Wake the Republic or Mr. Thrive and Survive? We have 124 total. I don't know how many are on each one. But we're doing a simulcast on the two. I can see both, but you can only see whoever's on your channel. Paul says you have a 100-plus page copy of the lawsuit. Who filed the lawsuit, Paul? I don't know anything about it. Oh, there's an excellent video that came out. You're on Thrive and Survive? Well, that's where most people probably are. Where would this be? I'm trying to find this for you guys because this is worth actually looking at. Oh, I think I know where it is. And it's on Telegram, I think, so I can't just share a YouTube link. Oh, no. I'm in the wrong section. Hold on just a moment, guys. Oh, it's on Instagram. Oh, wait a minute. This is something different. Wait a minute. Let me look at this for a second. You may hear it. Oh, it's people that were protesting in front of Google, but it's not in the U.S. It's over in the U.K. It's an anti-vax protest in front of Google. Like I said, overseas, they're pretty much awake. People here are snoozing. Where is it? Oh, wait a minute. It is a YouTube link because I shared it with somebody. Let me find it. Denmark abolishes all corona measures. In case I haven't read that to you before. Oh, this is it. This is really good.
Well, the FDA has a...
Now, I just loaded that on YouTube. Sure, I should be able to get it and give it to you guys. So let's go to history. Should be the first one there. Come on up with. There it is. And I definitely cannot show this here. I'm surprised this video is still up. Oh, this is amazing. 745 likes. 1 dislike. I definitely cannot share this here, but it's coming to you right now. There's the link. Hopefully it came to both. It did. There's the link to watch that video. It tells you, gives you some history of who is profiting, who has ties to certain companies, that type of thing. Yeah, Jason, we're snoozing and losing. Sleep in Australia. Unfortunately, I agree with you. People are starting to wake up to the imposed tyranny. They have to start starving the beast. Withhold the bucks and it'll end. Kay says, I heard the approval may be a sting operation because 2 weeks they will be required to reveal the ingredients to the public for all to see. Maybe a wake up. Yeah, somebody else said something about the 2 weeks, Kay. You got it, Spady. Weston says, I feel bad for people who think the government and Masonic media loves them and is on their side. Oh, Maven, my employer said he's too old to fight and resist. He's barely 50. That's what they want, an easy win. That's conditioning. This is good times producing weak men. That's what that is. That's good, Stanley. Taking the Charlton cold dead hand. Yeah. I've had 2 heart attacks and I have COPD. If anybody should be getting it, it's me, right? have comorbidity factors. And here this guy wants to give it to his 13-year-old kid. J. Mick, your sub flat helped me understand. I guess the submarine video, the plane of Earth. Thank you. It was a whoa, what moment? Oh, good. You know another one? It didn't even dawn on me too. Again, you know, I'm a World War II nut. What am I looking for? Torpedo distance. Torpedoes. Running, what is it, straight, flat, and level, or something like that, they always say. Right? Oh, it can travel 180 meters, 200 yards, according to this. What? They had longer ones in World War I than that. They've got one that'll go several kilometers. Oh, 1.2 ton torpedo can hit a target 31 miles away. So what they have to do is, if it's going to hit a target 31 miles away, let's do the math, okay? Let's do the math. So let's just say they want to hit a target, because 31 miles away, usually something like that, you want to hit a harbor or a harbor facility, something like that. So 31 miles times 8 inches per mile squared. It gives us 7,688 inches. That's 640 feet. So if they want to hit a target 20 feet under the water, they're going to have to drop it 660 feet under the water, because in 30 miles, it will run out of that much curvature. Total freaking bullcrap. Nothing compensates for that. Nothing. That's right, Supercoop. Everything proves flat Earth. So I may do another video on that. Instead of the sub, this is going to be the torpedo, because the torpedoes would all surface too from a certain distance. Yep, Supercoop. Line of sight laser tracking improves flat Earth. We did a double one. Double. 17 miles, 17 miles. They met each other. They commingled. They had they produced a third laser. Same thing with mirrors. 17-mile mirror flash. 17 miles. $193 feet curvature or drop should have been there. 193 feet. So plug your little standard stupid refraction in there all you want. Double it. You're still not going to be able to see it, but we saw it. Pfizer Incorporated and Bio and Technical SC today announced that the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, approved the Biologics license application for Comirnaty COVID-19 vaccine. I got to look that up. Thanks for that. You spell that again? I-R. FDA approves first COVID-19 vaccine. Approval signifies key achievement for public health. Today, U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Oh, that video I dropped the link. He talks about that too. Something I've been saying about the FDA forever. Approved the first COVID-19 vaccine. The vaccine has been known as the Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine and will now be marketed as Comirnaty for the prevention of COVID-19 disease in individuals 16 of age and older. So it's still not approved for someone 13 years old. The vaccine also continues to be available under emergency use authorization, including for individuals 12 through 15 of age and for the administration of third dose in certain immunocompromised individuals, and the fourth dose, and the fifth, and the sixth, and the 24th. The FDA's approval of this vaccine is a milestone. Always follow CDC guidelines as we continue to battle the COVID-19 pandemic. While this and other vaccines have met the FDA's rigorous scientific standards for 9 weeks? For safety, effectiveness, and manufacturing quality, the FDA requires an approved product, says Acting Commissioner James Woodcock, MD, who I bet you his bank account has grown recently. While millions are in my bank now, while millions of people have already safely received COVID-19 vaccines, the FDA approval of vaccine may now instill additional confidence to get vaccinated. Today's milestone puts us one step closer to altering the course of this pandemic in the U.S. Why? Fauci and everybody else says it's not going away, no matter what. Well, thanks for that. I appreciate it. Comirnaty contains messenger RNA, mRNA, a kind of genetic material. It is used in the body to make a mimic of one of the protons in the virus that causes COVID-19. Wow, there's another statistical anomaly that I'd like to go over, but I can't on here. They're making it sound like, well, let me just tell you what it was. 67 out of 1,000 people are getting what's it called? Myocarditis, inflammation of the heart. And so it's only 67 out of 1,000. But it's happening to the kids. It's not happening to adults. So they're saying it's only 67 out of it, so that's 0.06%. But the thing is the amount of people getting the vaccine that are children is way less than that. So the actual percentage is going to be different, if you know what I mean, guys. Myocarditis isn't happening in adults. It's happening in children that get it. But they're taking the whole group of millions and saying only 67 out of 1,000 are getting it. But if you know how to look at statistics, they can bend any statistics looking at them any way they want. What are the percentage of people that are children getting the vaccine? And then you can better believe just about all 67 are getting the myocarditis out of that group, that subset group. But they're giving you the whole group for the statistics, just like they keep giving the statistics per 100,000 population, which is bull crap. Almost slipped. They should give it per 100 population, not per 100,000. Because it makes it sound like the percentage is much, much higher. Weston, he thinks they're counting everyone who gets vaxxed as positive cases. Oh, this is from the CDC. The people that are vaccinated carry, on average, a 251 times higher load, that's how they just called it, higher load of coronavirus material in their nostrils than people who are not vaccinated. 251 times more. Greater load. No, I didn't see the clip with Circleback Saki saying pandemic. But I'll look for it. Thanks for that. Some adults are dying suddenly after the jab from cardiac arrest and blood clots. But the CDC says it's safe. Go by CDC guidelines. Oh, yeah, Weston, there's definitely weird stuff going on with the testing. Even the CDC admits there's weird stuff that they said they spun it up 10 times too much. They keep growing bacteria 10 times over so that they can get a positive result. Why would they do that when you wouldn't do it with any other disease? Because if you get a positive result, you get the bucks free from the federal government for your hospital. That's why. Hello, Anthony. Yeah, funny how they only mention cases, not deaths. It's still per 100. Here they do it in Arizona here, but they're running out because what's happening is, I got to tell you this first. The Orioles now have a new giveaway night. Check this out. You're not going to believe this. They have this really nice looking black Oriole hat with the Oriole bird on it, the ornithologically correct bird. It's a really sharp, it's a really sharp, good looking hat. The first 2,000 people that show up to the ballpark on this date get the hat with one condition. You have to have ID and you have to have proof that you were vaccinated with the same ID. In other words, the names have to match. Then you get the hat. Isn't that amazing? What they're doing, though, is what I was going to say was now it says join 3.9 million Arizonans get vaccinated. Well, it was 3.8 million about a month ago. So they're running out of people who are listening to what they're saying. So let's wait for the next stage to ramp up now. $6,000 a week for some jabbers, $40,000 each for institutions. Good to know. I've always wanted to know those numbers. Thank you, Iron. There is way too many incentives. There's way too much money behind it. You don't need to incentivize people to get well, but that's what they're doing. Exactly, Anthony. They care a lot for us. Just think, if it wasn't for the CDC and the FDA, where would we be? We might not even have high fructose corn syrup or sucralose or what's the excitotoxin? See, it's burnt out my brain. I can't even think of what it's called. Equal. Biden said they will pull every lever to get it. Get people to get it? And artificial colors and artificial flavors and sodium silicoaluminate in salt. Aluminum. Guess who funds, look at that link I gave you. Guess who funds the FDA? Aspartame, thank you, Kay. Here's the link to that video again. There's the answer. Same people that fund the CDC, by the way. That's why they're so good. Sweet and low rat poison. Yeah, equal aspartame. You know the history behind that? That's simple. They wanted to develop a poison for ants. And ants are attracted to sweet things, so they made it sweet. And so they're attracted to it, they eat it, and they die. I've actually used it. My ex-wife, she did something crazy one time. She put sugar out for a ladybug that was in the bathroom. Well, guess what? By that evening, we had a whole train of ants in there. And so what I did was I took some equal packets, got some equal packets, and I opened them up and put them down there. And they came right for that too. And guess what? The next day, the ants were gone. Why not give insulin for free? Exactly. Why not give it all for free? See, nothing's free. Nothing is free. American people are paying for this. And they're like, well, I'm not getting taxed for it or whatever, but watch the deterioration of the dollar. High fructose corn syrup. They wanted to develop a sweetener that was cheaper than sugar. And it'd be nice if it was a kind of a little addicting. Japanese scientists, I believe, are the ones that developed that. So it's just about in everything. In this country, now overseas, they're smarter. They don't allow it in Mexico. They don't allow it in the Bahamas. But they allow it in the United States, and probably some countries in Europe, I bet you don't allow high fructose corn syrup either. Yes, this is Mr. Thrive and Survive. What channel are you on? Are you on Wake the Republic or Mr. Thrive and Survive? And before lunch? Or and before lunch? I can't even read your comment, Rich Spellman. It works every time. You want a cheap way to get rid of ants? Go to like a Dunkin' Donuts, order a coffee, grab a bunch of the equal packets they have there, come home, put them out where you have ants. You won't have them long. There are over 35 poisonous things the FDA approved. Wait till you see this list in this thing. It's a lot more than 35. But yeah, good point, Alexandros. Good to see you too, MB for lunch. Hello, Effed Up World. Yep, same to you, MB for lunch. Keep tabs on us. We're going to do a balloon launch at some point at night. Someone did a balloon launch, and they did it when the sun was on the other side of the earth. And this balloon picked up the moon and the sun where they should have been at night. It could see it from its altitude. I think it was 67,000 feet. Alexandros, TBHQ, sucralose sodium, phosphate, titanium dioxide, the only number 5, high fructose corn syrup, Kerrigan caramel, color, calcium phosphate, sodium nitrates. Yes, sodium nitrate, potassium nitrite, sodium nitrite. Again, sodium silicoaluminate. It's a drying agent in salt, like at McDonald's. Wonderful stuff, the FDA. One of the funniest things I saw was on somebody posted on a Telegram that said funeral homes did not see a surge in 2020. See if there's anything new that I should be alerting you to. Oh, what's this? Linwood and Sidney Pell, among others, have been referred for investigation of possible suspension or disbarment. Of course. Didn't they disbar Rudy Giuliani because he was a Trump supporter? Oh, here it is, where she slips and says it.
Preview of the president's upcoming meeting with the Israeli Prime Minister, and if we can expect any announcements on the reopening of Palestinian offices in Washington and the consulate in Jerusalem, and if not, what's the status of those projects?
Sure. I know we did a briefing call to provide a preview of that last night, or I believe yesterday at some point in time. I will say that the president's looking forward to welcoming the prime minister, who's already in town, as you know, having a variety of meetings today. We expect their conversation to be wide-ranging, to cover a range of topics of mutual interest, everything from COVID-19 and our efforts to address the global pandemic to regional security issues, which could include a range of topics, including security within Israel, as well as Iran and other issues of mutual concern. And I expect we'll have a readout once the meeting concludes of anything coming out of the meeting.
Well, she said it. I didn't hear it.
Go ahead.
I just wondered if you could give us a preview of the president's upcoming meeting with the Israeli Prime Minister, and if we can expect any announcements on the reopening of the Palestinian offices in Washington and the consulate in Jerusalem, and if not, what's the status of those projects?
Sure. I know we did a briefing call to provide a preview of that last night, or I believe yesterday at some point in time. I will say that the president's looking forward to welcoming the prime.
She doesn't say. I guess she does say it, but I missed it. You know what I've noticed? And then I'll comment on what she was talking about anyway. If you have someone giving signs for the deaf, you're in trouble. First of all, they have closed captioning. Why the hell do you need this? Anytime you see that, you know you're on a super liberal place. California, New York, the current White House. Why do they need, for what? 2 people who can read sign language but can't read closed captions? Anyway. Oh, thank you, Michael. Just got a note from Venmo. Thank you very much. Why are we talking about Israel and Iraq and all these other countries? Don't we have enough problems here? Screw them. Let them take care of their own problems. Haven't we learned yet that the more we get involved overseas, the worse it gets? We were in World War II because Roosevelt decided he didn't like Japan's expansion into China. So he cut off their oil and steel from the United States. They imported over 90% of their oil from the United States, maybe even 95%. What did you expect them to do? She said pandemic. I believe it. I believe it. But see, the media feeds that crap. What are we going to do about Afghanistan and Iraq now? And what about Israel? What about them? Can't they take care of themselves? We're supposed to be the most feared army on earth. It's only because we're the ones that feed it. MB for lunch. I hate how the whatever nonsense. You have to go by CDC here at MB for lunch. I was cut off when I didn't. Anyway, nonsense that's going on. Sidetrack total flat earth excitement we had going. Oh well, flat earth never goes away. Yeah, it'll be back. It's just that we do have big fish to fry right now. It is amazing how far we have come since March of 2020. So we are, a year and a half into this now? And if you think it's going away after a year and a half, I remember saying, my son, when he said, "You want to go to Vegas, go on a trip to Vegas." It was end of March when they first did the 15 days, 15 days to stop the spread. And So he said, what do you think? I said, well, they'll probably be over with in April. Towards the end of April, we can go then. And April came, of course. Then we were into 30 days additional to stop the spread. And then here we are. We're still going. And in Vegas, you still have to wear a mask. I'm not going to Vegas. That's me. Sorry. I'm not going to patronize anybody unless it's an emergency. It's going to make me do something that is against my will. Yeah, Jason. 1 turns into 3 and 4 and 5 and over. It's never going to end. And no one's asking where the money's coming from for all the boosters either, are they? Nobody's asking. Because think about it. We all know a bunch of people around us who have dropped dead. So we have to do this stuff. We all know plenty of people that have dropped dead because of this pandemic. Right? So we have to do this stuff. Renee says the Taliban is already here demanding mask and experimental gene therapy vaccines. Yeah. That's right, Stanley. All of us listen to the CDC, or we identify as those who do. This is why we're testing simulcasting out, so we can get into stuff and not have to worry about guidelines that other people can use to shut you down. Oh, very good, Renee, but I can't put it up. You have a feeling we're about to get hit again by the T. What's the T? Oh. You talking about like false or not false flag? Yes, don't come to Vegas, The Walking Dead. Are you in Vegas, Tony? Vintage. I love the look on brainwashed people's faces when you ask them how many people they know who have died from COVID. Well, don't you know that Tom Hanks had it? And there was this politician that died from it. Oh, and Donna Wells, who played Marianne on Gilligan's Island, she died from it. She was 80, but she died from it. They're commissioning a new Big John CV67. Are they really? A new pig, huh? We call the old one the pig. Gotcha, MB for lunch. Yeah, it's I guess it'll come out just when they know the Arizona audit results are going to come out, if that ever happens. Your sister-in-law is totally and completely brainwashed by the media. Whatever they spew out, she believes it. And that's unfortunately, that's the majority of the people. I think it is anyway. Oh, yeah, Hank Aaron. That's right. You can never verify this stuff. I mean, we should all know people that have died from it. It's so bad. D&B still hasn't met anybody. Al Brooks, for a while, everybody that died had it. I still remember the two biggest ones. The one that was shot in the head, and that's the one that got the medical examiner to actually come on Minnesota TV. He said he was forced to put COVID-19 was the cause of death because even though he was shot in the head, and that's what killed him, he tested positive for COVID, probably with one of the tests they spin up 10 times too many. And so he had to put on there cause of death COVID. And then the hospital got their cash because they had a COVID patient who died. See how it works? The other one that comes to mind is the motorcycle guy, the guy who had a motorcycle accident. He died, but he tested positive. So the official cause of death was complications from COVID. Can't make it up. The Stones drummer die from the jab. I have no idea. Never heard anything about that. Vintage. We only know one person that supposedly died from it. It was like 400 pounds, was sick already, and was 70 years old. You know, if you take someone who's 400 pounds, sick, 70 years old, and you give them the flu, they're probably going to die a lot more often than someone who is in good shape, younger, has a better immune system. He died Tuesday. Yeah. And before lunch. Great point. I would think in a true, you know what, the news would need to tell you it exists. Hello, Carbide. Raleigh. So what is the latest with U.S. vets? Is it supposed to be now that they've given approval, regular approval? I don't know. Can they now not refuse? I know Mike Ball, he thought you could quit the military. He said, no, you can't quit the military because he had a brother who got out or whatever. Yeah, if you're in boot camp, you can get out. But after boot camp, you don't get out with an honorable discharge. You can't just quit. Because if you could, I wouldn't have been in 4 years, trust me. There were even times early on, especially because they had me in the wrong places. They were jamming me in the places that I didn't belong. And I'm glad I didn't do it because I didn't know the right stuff back then. You didn't have the internet, you couldn't research. But I was like, oh, I know what'll get me out because you can't sleepwalk and be in the Navy. But I would have faked it wrong. I would have been caught. So I'm glad I didn't do it. Maven says, military doesn't fight for our rights. Look at the proof right now. We're losing them. See, Maven, what people are going to say is, it has to be this way so people wake up. Yeah. Didn't you know that? People have to die so people wake up. Second man, I work in a parking lot of a Home Depot. I touch every cart that the customers touch. Pick up trash and masks. Still no COVID to be found. I take no precautions. Where's the virus? You must be doing some sort of CDC guidelines, though, second man. It's because everybody coming into Walmart is vaccinated. Well, all of us that don't take the vax have to go into hiding before they start going door. Yeah, they said they're going to go door to door. You're too old to live in a cave. I'll tell you one thing, Vintage. You come to my house, first of all, it's none of your MFing business whether I have anything in my body or not. That's number one. Number two, it's against the law for you to ask. And number three, if you're knocking on my door, what kind of information do you have to start with? Where did you get it from? Because it can't be legal. Poole said there's 800 million active duty that are going to be court-martialed for not taking the jab. Who's Poole? It'll never come to that. You're never going to all of a sudden dump 800 million people out of the military. This is part of starving the beast. You can't do that. Oh, Tim Pool. Okay. I volunteer for execution. Now, when I was in the military, you got shots and you had no choice. That's just the way it was. But this is a little bit different. This is something that has come along since then. But if they made it so it's not experimental, 800 million, that doesn't sound right. Something's wrong. Maybe 80 million. No, not even 80 million. Say, how many people are in the U.S. Armed Forces? 1,417,000 total, with 857,000 in reserve. So about 2.2 million. Says there are about 1.3 million on active duty personnel, or less than 1/2 of 1%. So he's probably talking about 800,000, not 800 million. You can't even get rid of 80,000. It won't work. You can't just suddenly dump a bunch of people. Well, thank you, Stanley. I don't know what else to call it. There could be a better name, but I say starve the beast. I need to get a haircut. You guys can tell that. And if I walk in and they're telling me I need to have, you know what, I know a place that doesn't require it. So I will definitely tell them to make sure the manager knows. In fact, I think I'm now beyond that. Not only will I say, make sure the manager knows that I'm not, to tell the owner that I'm not going to do my business here while this is required. And then I'm going to turn to the people and say, you're going to keep putting up with, they're going to keep making you put up with this as long as you put up with it. You need to do the same thing. You need to find places that don't require this and do your patronage there. Otherwise, they're just going to do this and do it and do it and do it. When you start starving the beast of this, it'll stop. When the money runs out for hospitals who get positive COVID patients, they'll stop testing. Or they'll make you pay for a test. $800 active military? No, it can't be 800 million. Can't be. There's only 330 million Americans. Who's going to tell the military to get the vaccine? Politicians. Like I said, when I was in there, you didn't have a choice. When we went to certain countries, you had to line up, and they had the guns on either side of you. Next. Oh, the worst, though, was when we went to Africa, and they gave us the stuff to prevent malaria. Oh, my Lord. You had 5,000 people all needing to use the bathroom at the same time on the ship. The problem is we don't have enough people like us, Rich, and they know it. Yes, that is the problem, Wandering Eyes. I agree 100%. So we have to do our best to try to wake people up. Just do a little bit of the little that you can. One person can spread it to 2, and 2 can spread it to 4, and 4 can spread it to 8, and so on. And the mathematics starts to become pretty decent. And I think there's more of us than they're letting on. Just to let you know, let me go to CDC site again. They're saying 3.9 million people in Arizona, and it's been 3.8 for a long time now. CDC site isn't loading. Why not? Maybe it's got a virus. Site cannot be reached. Oh, is it cdc.gov? Because they want you to think it's .gov. It's like the Federal Reserve. Let's see. Booster shot. HHS. This is from CDC's own site, YouTube. Booster shot. HHS has announced a plan to begin offering COVID-19 booster shots in the fall. Something to look forward to. CDC recommends delaying travel until you get fully vaccinated. Delta variant. The Delta variant is more contagious than previous strains. Then it goes to hurricane preparedness. What is the CDC doing about hurricane preparedness? Learn how to prepare for a hurricane or tropical storm. And they're showing a hurricane. Let me share this. That's so big, it's covering 1/4 of the earth. Don't believe me? Watch this. Look at this picture on the top right here. Look at that curvature of the earth. This is like at least 1/8 of the earth. Look at this thing. They give you so much horse crap. It's unbelievable. What is this? Oh, we have the sun with no clouds giving us 30-degree crepuscular rays. So it can't be 92 million miles away. What does the CDC have to do with this? Why? This should be at NOAA.gov, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, not the CDC. They must have got money for it. What I'm looking for is, let me see, vaccinated in Arizona. Yellow fever vaccination clinics in Arizona, because we have yellow fever everywhere here. Are you guys seeing this? Yes, you are. So let's click on this, see if this gives it to us. Your vaccination when fully vaccinated and booster shot. So you're never fully vaccinated if you need a booster, right? Are they safe? Let's see what the CD says. COVID-19 vaccinations are safe and effective, based on we hope. Millions of people in the United States have received COVID-19 vaccines under the most intensive safety monitoring in U.S. history. CDC recommends you get a COVID-19 vaccine as soon as possible. If you are fully vaccinated, you can resume activities that you did prior to the pandemic. Well, I never stopped, unless the government stopped me. Learn more about what you can do when you have been fully vaccinated. No, I'm not. I'll tell you what I can do, whether you say I'm vaccinated or not. But I will follow your guidelines, of course. Find a vaccine near you. I'm scared to look that up. It would probably blot out the screen with how many people give it. They had a thing on here that was telling you vaccines by state. Reporting COVID-19 vaccines, data tracker. This is what I want. Because somebody's lying unless the data was behind. It should be caught up by now. At least one dose, 202 million people. Fully vaccinated, 51% of the total population. I don't know. What do you think about that? Do you think that sounds right to you guys? 51%. Do you know 51% of the people you know are vaccinated? So a little bit more than half. Here we go, Arizona. It decided not to load. But the National Weather Service is issuing an excessive heat warning for 11 counties, except Apache, Concono. Oh, please. Why are they incorporating NOAA.gov stuff? Oh, you didn't see that picture. Anyway, total doses. This isn't people. This is going to be higher than people. 2,603,000. They're saying 3.9 million people are vaccinated. And about 5 months ago, they said 5 point so many million total doses. That's what the street signs here say. Oh, I'm sorry. I was in New Mexico. Total doses administered per rate, 102,000. Oh, total dose administered rate per 100,000. They're administering more than the population. 102,630 doses administered per 100,000 of the population. Well, they're not showing that the data isn't loading like it did last time. Because they gave you how many total people. But this can't be true. Anyway, then we have 7 million population here. So according to that, just about everybody's got it. Look at these liberal states. Massachusetts. Total doses, 9,395,000. Washington State. Oh, Puerto Rico. Dumbass. Puerto Rico. Let's check Wyoming. 470,000 doses, or 81,000 per 100. They're not even up to even with the 100,000 population. People, that's what I want. People. $4 million, they're saying. Percent of population receiving at least one dose, 56%. So now they're ahead of the street signs here. JT, oh God. I'm scared what 2 years is going to bring. They're going to have to come up with something that will fix stuff. I'm going to go in 4 minutes, guys. I'm a half hour beyond what I wanted to do. Like I said, I got to get up early tomorrow. COVID is here forever, just like the moon landing lie. But at least COVID is true, right, Danny? CDC says it is. The moon landing is a lie. Kay says, on a positive note, we only saw one chemtrail here in a 7-day period. Blue skies. I haven't seen them here in a long time either. All my childhood, nearly all week. That is a huge change. Good to hear. Yeah, I haven't seen any in Arizona for a while either. Walking Dead zombies. See, they came out with the TV channel, the TV show first. Maven says effects can go on 10 years or beyond. Here's the thing. We don't even know. We don't even know. They couldn't have done anything. Trump said it was developed in 9 months minus 3 days. That's the longest. And it wasn't even developed until what they said they started doing short-term trials in, what was it? November. And then it came out in January. So it was like 2 months. That's your long-term studies. And there's no going against CDC with that. They know there's no long-term studies. They're chemtrailing you, huh, Iron? Sorry to hear that. One giant jab from mankind. You need proof it's not really a vaccine for a Facebook answer. Go to CDC. They say it's mRNA. It's not. That's not a vaccine. You mean the actual pandemic? I've already lost what your previous thought was. Oh. I don't think. Well, if the Patriots aren't in control, this is never going away. I think God's in control, and therefore it will go away. Who said the Nazis were defeated? Exactly. Vinci says, look for the chart online with all the vaccines to look at how long it took to study and test them. Yes. And how many they had to, how many they had to dump because they had bad effects? Oh, there's so many things I'd like to say that I've read about what's going on now, but I can't do it. Not until I get my own site. Meanwhile, follow CDC. Jensen said the ICUs in hospitals where he is are not full and overflowing. And the report I got here was the people that were in the ICU that did have it all were vaccinated. It didn't say it was overflowing, but it said there were people there that had it. Check out a warrior calls on how we will defeat this. Is that YouTube? See if I can find it. The warrior's call. It comes up. Oh. Let me share the screen and you tell me if this is the person you're talking about. Is this who you're talking about? Okay, cool. Cool, very cool. Let me subscribe to him. Pop one of his videos in my thing so it comes up in the history. Come on, play a couple seconds of it. Thank you. There we go. Cam, I would say, I see it says, Cam says, my friend tries to tell me that those who got it had less problems after catching it. The whole idea is that you weren't going to catch it. That was the whole idea. You were not going to catch it. I know people who have gotten COVID and gotten the shot too. Trump. How's that for knowing somebody? I don't know him directly, but he had it, and he didn't get HCQ. That's not what there was more people. You know what the other excuse was, other than he was really talking about HCQ, not the vaccine. No, please wake up out of your stupidity, out of your stupor. The other person said, well, that's okay because he's talking to patriots and patriots know better. Oh, please. You don't know better. You've disconnected logic for liking somebody. Our body's antibodies 30 times more powerful. Zinc, vitamin D. Get out in the sun, move around, exercise. This is the first time in history that we quarantine the well. It's never been done in history. Those who aren't sick are quarantined. And number two, the people who got sick are still told they need to do certain things. I don't see what the advantage is. What is the advantage? You can go into a restaurant in New York. Anybody know how that's going? That's supposed to be in effect now, but not fully enforced until September something. Our mayor had COVID, decided to get the vaccine, now has COVID again. Interesting, Bonnie. Thanks for that. I wonder if he's got the Delta variant. A warrior calls on Rumble, YouTube old vids. Oh, okay. Well, I know who he is, though. I can find him then. Thanks for that. I was wondering how he would get away with saying stuff like that, because I can't. Always follow CDC guidelines, guys. Always. Exactly, Wondering Eyes. I can't read it all, but if they really wanted this to go away, they would push healthier living and tell us to ignore certain things. And for kids to have to get it, they're like 99. I think I've heard of two that supposedly died from it. Two. What's that? 99.999999999% survival rate. All right, guys, I'm going to go. I got to go. I got to get sleep tonight. We'll be back Friday. Thanks for all the supporters of the channel. Links are in the description if you'd like to support the channel. I greatly appreciate it. You can support me on several ways. Just look in the description. You can do it monthly, or you can do it one time through several different methods. And every little bit does help. I'm trying to work out my finances. I'm selling my car, so I have no car payment. I'm just going to buy an old used car, so that'll save me quite a bit a month right there. So I'm doing the best I can. And outside the matrix, good night to you too. Thank you. You have a good night too, Rod. Bye, Carbide. God bless you, Nettie, too. God bless everyone. Effed up world. Charlie is great, Maven. Thanks. I still got to get him to the vet to check out a few things, but he's been doing really good. Why are healthy people? Pugsley! Good to see you. Pugsley's a great supporter. Okay, yes. There's a couple more here. Good night, Bonnie. Love you too. God bless each and everybody. For reals. Thank you, Stanley. Sorry this is shorter tonight. We'll be back Friday, God willing, 7:30 my time, same time, 10:30 Eastern. I said it was going to get a little bit cooler, but I don't think till Saturday. If it's a little bit cooler, I can take Charlie earlier on Friday, and maybe we'll go a half hour earlier. We'll see. But I know it's a little bit less tense on Friday because most people don't have to get up the next morning and work, so that works good. Great chat, everybody. We didn't get anything controversial tonight, very much anyway. Go figure. Anyway, God bless. We'll be back on Friday. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.